All right, thanks for joining me today for my channel. This is Discovering My Money, and I talk about budgeting. So we're gonna look at how to budget for something you're planning for your future and how to get that kind of organized in a basic way. I hope you'll click subscribe and like. I'm trying to build my channel up to monetization on YouTube, and that's about 1,000 subscribers. I'd like to do that by the end of August. So end of May, I'd like to have 100. So help me out by clicking subscribe and like. I can't even talk. Subscribe and like, and yeah, hope you'll join me for the rest of the video. So right now I'm planning something that's kind of a major life change, but it's not only just doing it, right, that I have to do. Like just yesterday I went and looked at renewing my passport, so there's an expense there. The obvious ones, of course, it's overseas, but I have to apply for a visa, and all the expenses, little things that go along the way. And then I started to look into it more and more, and I'm probably going to need 1 to 2 months of rent and basically food and whatever else you need to survive and get started when you get over there. So I'm going to need to save up that money, and then I'm going to have the travel of getting there, but the travel when I'm there, and you know, certain number of days probably in a hotel. These expenses not really part of what you originally look at, right? So when I originally looked at it, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna have a flight. How much does it cost when I'm there? How much you're gonna make? But it's all the stuff in between that really gets you going. So the passport is $120, or if you want to do 10 years, you can do $160. The whole passport thing is, it's actually a fairly big chunk of change. Like, it's not $10, right? But I mean, it's, if you get a 10-year one, it's, you know, over 10 years, it's not that big a deal. But it's a added cost that when you're trying to get ready and save up to go someplace, you want to look at. So I'm not complaining about it. What I'm trying to point out, though, is all these little things that pop up that are expenses are going to add to what you need to have to get where you're going, and they just keep piling up, right? So you need to sit down and go through it fairly thoroughly and make a list of things you need to do. Then do the research and find out what else you need to do. Like, for instance, if I go overseas to teach English, I will have an option to apply for their visa to be a teacher through the government program, but that only gives me certain options, and so how you get paid is different. Could get paid more, but you don't know where you're going. If I choose to do it through a student visa, I go over there and I learn the language. That's now an expense because I have to sign up for a class to be a student. Then I have to look for my own work, which is probably not going to pay as much, but I'll have more options and more chances. So all these little things could be variations in how I get placed, right? So I need to be aware of what the potential costs are. Not to mention timelines. Timelines become an issue, but that's what we're talking. We're talking about budgeting. So to budget all this out, I need to look at certain things that will cost me those extra $120 or $160. And it's not just the visa, right? And there's a whole bunch of them. And as I start adding them up, I start going, this is now thousands of dollars. And then I need a flight, and I need to book things ahead of schedule. And at some point you're still kind of winging it, but it comes back to that whole budgeting to make sure you got all your bases covered. Then you have an emergency fund, right? And I also want to have a fund set aside that if it doesn't work out, I can at least buy a ticket to get back. I think that's hugely important. Have enough money to buy a plane ticket to get back from where you're going, especially when there's a lot of uncertainties. Now, in my case, because I'm older, I'll also want to have another 1 to 2 months on the other side to budget in case I come back. I'm going to have to look for a job here if things don't work out when I go overseas. So budgeting for these things is more about planning, checking out all your options, and just make a list. And that doesn't sound like I'm giving you a lot of budgeting advice, but it is really just about finding out all the different things you need to pay for along the way. Make a list of them, add them up, and then look for what options are available. Thanks for joining me. I hope you'll click that subscribe and like, and we'll see you for the next video.